so keep that in mind.
Yeah, hey, forget I asked.
That'll definitely do.
Ew. Join the Discord.
It was the least fun I've ever had playing this game.
A small but vibrant and extremely humble community.
No, I've seen the sleeves, but I'm like, you said you're suiting up, and then you put your sleeve on. Thank you for saying that.
Because I'm a demon on the keys.
Next thing I know, we're both dead. I immediately left the lobby.
In Vietnam.
What are they playing for? Are they playing to win?
Stay humble.
Stay humble.
We are live. Welcome to The Dropshot, episode number 29. My name is Casey, also known as Razanon. I am joined, as always, by my dear friend Tanner. Tanner, say hello to everyone.
What's going on, everybody?
God, that mic sounds crispy. We love to see it. We love that we fixed it. So a couple announcements here. First of all, kind of a minor point, but I wanted to bring it to everyone's attention. In the Discord, I had created a bot that was like redirecting all of our tweets to Discord. It's too many. It's too much. So what I did was I removed our tweets from that channel. And now the only things that are going to get posted there are when a new episode is on the RSS feed and when a new video for the podcast is on the YouTube. So now, if you're in the Discord, which you should be, and you turn on notifications for the drop bot, that is all it's going to be now. So if you really wanted to know, like, as soon as the next episode goes live or whatever, you could join the Discord, turn on notifications for the drop bot, and then as soon as a new episode is live, you'll get a notification, like probably before any of the podcasting apps. So it won't be spammy anymore. So it won't be blowing up your phone. And by the way, you can get Discord on your phone. I strongly recommend it. It's cool when you have notifications like that, so that you'll get a little ring or a little vibrate on your phone. And then it'll say, oh, you know, episode 29 is now live on all podcast apps. And then you'll say bet, and then you'll go download it after you rate it 5 stars on iTunes. So let's see. What else do we have here? Tanner, hold on. Another thing I've decided to do is add a Hall of Fame panel. So I hired my artist, Caesar, shout out to Caesar, to make me some new panels, one of which will be like a Hall of Fame panel. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, but I've decided to start commemorating those of you who have been going above and beyond in terms of support. So donors, gifters, cheerers, bit cheerers. I'm going to start listing you guys the bottom of the stream, and then I'm going to commemorate those. So it's going to be like May, Hall of Fame, whatever. And then once May is over, I'm going to keep the May document like on my stream forever as like a Google Doc. So I just wanted to point that out. Because, you know, we thank you guys and stuff, and we really try to make it clear how much it is appreciated. And this will be another way to do that, and it does it in a nice way, I think. So I've added that. It's here now. I just don't have the panel yet. If you look under YouTube, you can see the Hall of Fame for this month. And then any more announcements, Tanner?
Damn. I just wanted to announce real quick. My emotes are live. They finally got approved. So those of you that are sub to me, I've got 3 fire emotes you can choose from. So come by and check them out. You guys can spam them right now if you want. Twitch.tv/Tanner Dropshot.
What are the emotes, Tanner?
Okay, one of the emotes is me saying so dumb, which I say a lot because I get pissed. The other one is me yelling dude. And then the last one is a cocktail glass making noise like ice just sloshing around. Similar to that, because people get pissed when I do that. Or actually, nobody gets pissed. Razanon gets pissed.
Yeah,
so
I get pissed. So
that's what that's for. So come sub to me and you guys get access to those fire emotes.
Fire emotes. They're also in our Discord, the Dropshot Discord. So if you're a part of the Discord, you can now use those emotes. It's like :Tanner37 uppercase CLINC : will give his emote and it'll like show in the Discord, which is really cool. So and we're going to be streaming on Tanner's channel after this, doing some war zones. So depending on how turned the fuck up your boy is, then we can have some fun over there. So make sure you stick around. Call Me Al 17 is trying to get on that Hall of Fame, evidently. This announcement has inspired him, and in his infinite generosity has gifted 5 tier 1 subs. Let's fucking go. Hell yes, dude. Hidden Chaos, Psychon IV, Extinct. Hold on. Pants Cheaters? Pansa Cheaters? Okay. And To Kill a Sirocking Bird. That is a fantastic name. To Kill a Sirocking Bird. Ciroc, like the liquor. I don't know what kind of liquor it is, but welcome all of you to this small but vibrant and extremely humble community. And Call Me Al, thank you so much, dude. Very kind of you. I don't recall seeing you here, but you do have a message for us. And it says, "Hey guys, huge fan. I listen on Spotify, and you guys make my workday bearable. This is my first time live too. Let's fucking go."
Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go, dude. Well, Call Me Al, you came in very hot. It's an honor and a privilege to have you here live for the Dropshot, a Call of Duty podcast. I'm glad you've been enjoying it. I'm glad I've made an essential worker trademarks day bearable at work. I really appreciate the kind words, man, in all seriousness, and I do appreciate the support. That's very nice of you, dude. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, and thank you very much for the subs and for the kind words, my friend. I will try to live up to your praise, sir. So thank you very much. Psychon IV says, "Hell yeah, I found you guys on Apple Podcasts. I get through the shitty work days thanks to you guys as well. First time live." Hell yeah, dude. Let's fucking go. And you got that fire gifted sub, dude. So it's a good Saturday night for you, I hope. But I appreciate the kind words as well, Psychon. And thanks for being here live. It's always more fun live.
Thanks for stopping by. It's way more fun.
And Extinct is his first time as well. Well, we're popping a lot of cherries tonight. It's kind of like a prom night for my girlfriend. I was 32. That was like a dazed and confused kind of joke. It didn't work. Yeah.
Cricket.
Yeah.
Stay frosty.
Wait,
Yeah.
shit. Hi, I'm Raz. Nope, that's not it. There it is. Okay. I gotta acquaint myself with the new sounds on the soundboard. And then Tanner Dropshot has subscribed with Twitch Prime. Hi, I'm Razin. Fuck. Tanner Dropshot is my co-host. You guys might know that. I hope you know that by now.
You may know that. Yeah.
So he's got the 12 months now. Thank you, you stupid bitch. You're on the payroll, so I'll thank you with your paycheck. But you got the new sub badge now. You got the new sub badge, which is fantastic.
The only person that has it, right? Besides you?
You, me, and Itch, I think. I think Itch might have it. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Oh, you're good, Al. Yeah, play your Warzone, dude. Play your Warzone, King. Get those fucking dubs. Get those dubs. Rate the pod 5 stars only. Damascus gets it, dude. Yeah, Apple Pod. Yeah, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts and you haven't rated me 5 stars, I will find you, and I will ask you kindly to rate it 5 stars in person. Anyways, let's get this fucking party started. So, normally, our first section of every pod is to go through playlist updates. In this case, there are none. No playlist updates since Wednesday. So that's all I have to say on that topic. And now we're going to get into the meat and potatoes, as they say, of today's episode.
Are you going to say that every time now?
Do I say that a lot?
You've said that like the last probably 3 or 4 episodes.
I
So
actually-
is that a regular thing now? I just need to know.
No, I don't think so. It wasn't
Okay.
on purpose. I do a lot of things like that on purpose.
It's a regular thing
but
now. Yeah, it's a regular thing now.
I'll keep that in mind. So we got a couple questions in the Q&A section of the Discord. By the way, we're a little light in Q&A questions. So join the fucking Discord. Go to the Q&A questions section and ask your fucking questions, all of them. Because we'll answer them all eventually. But we had a couple questions in the same vein that that spoke to me, and they told me about, or they made me think of a topic about which I'm very passionate and about which I can say quite a lot, and which is very important to me. And so I will be answering those questions today, but they are such poignant topics that the questions surround that I figured we could devote pretty much all of today's episode to them. And those questions surround camping. Camping in Call of Duty. Now, what is camping was one of these questions. And I think this is an interesting question, but I don't know how important it is. But I've found, I think what I can give you is a fairly strong definition. So we can all agree that like sitting in one corner, crouched with a shotgun and not moving is obviously camping. That is unambiguously true. But you can extend that, and the line between whether or not you're camping becomes kind of fuzzy. It's kind of like this whole abortion debate, to get political.
Okay.
A nanosecond after the moment of conception, most people would say, well, that whatever just happened, whatever's going on in there, hi ladies, is not a person. It's not a person. It's like it's an egg that's been fertilized a nanosecond ago. But then most people would also agree that a nanosecond before the baby flies out, it is a person, right? So we can all agree that one is not a person, one is. But where exactly in between those 2 points does it go from not being a person to being a person? Now, that's not the subject of today's episode, but it's a good analogy.
shit.
It's a good analogy because it's the same for camping. It's like we all agree that sitting in a corner with a shotgun is camping. And we also all agree that holding down your sprint button and never stopping your character is not camping. We all agree with those things. But at what point in between those does camping stop being camping? And it's a good question, but it's hard to answer. So if you're sitting in the corner, you're camping. How about if you're just sitting in one room? If you just stay in one room, but maybe you're shooting out of a window or two, you're looking out a door or two, but you're staying in one room. Tanner, is that camping?
One room, I believe you're a camping sack of shit. Put your
Okay.
claymore up, you're a camper.
Okay. Now, how about one building? So you're looking out one room. Maybe you're looking out the window in another room. Maybe you fuck around and go downstairs and look out those windows, those doors, but you do not leave the building. Is that camping?
I don't believe so, because you're at least, hey, you're surveying the map.
Okay.
You're running to
It's a nice
different areas.
euphemism.
You're running to different levels. You're peeking different corners constantly. You're just playing that area of the map because it's a good area to play. I don't think that's camping. I
Okay.
do that quite a bit. I don't sit in one room ever, but I'll hold a building and get a few easy kills until I get kill chain and get my cruise missile and then decimate their team, and then they're getting white phos dropped on them.
Okay, so here's a fine point of psychological analysis that I want you guys to take into consideration. Tanner just said in no uncertain terms that camping stops becoming camping when it's the thing he does. So if you just sit in a corner, you're a camping piece of shit because Tanner would never do that. If you just sit in one room, if you just sit in one room and you never leave the room, you're a camping piece of shit because Tanner would do that. But if you just stay in but if you just stay in one building like Tanner would do, then all of a sudden you're not a camper. So Tanner has taken what he does and then defined the word camper around what he does. And as soon as it comes to the thing that he's willing to do, it stops being camping. Welcome to Psychology 101 class. My name is Professor Riley. And you've just gotten an insight into Tanner's mind. So Tanner, go ahead and respond because you have a dumb look on your face. like you want to tell me I'm wrong.
I just want you to tell everyone the story of how you got your first nuke. You camping sack of shit.
Is that hero?
You fucking idiot, bitch.
Okay.
You got exactly 30 kills in the same building. You moved no more than 15 feet.
This is fake news. So before we move on, yeah, there is a VOD, exactly. Before we move on, I need to address this slander. I was using a P90. I was hungover, and so was Tanner. And I did not expect to get a nuke, but I was fucking dicking kids around, and then I got specialist bonus, so I was probably at around 12 kills. And then I camped my tight little white ass off. So I did camp for the nuke, but not for all 30. And there is a VOD. You can find that VOD on YouTube, which I may or may not have conveniently linked for you in the chat. I didn't because my stream deck is shit. That's fine. So yeah, you can go to YouTube and then type in like, it's in the Modern Warfare playlist. It's like how to get easy nukes or something. It's a great video. It has a lot of good information, and you can see the whole game. I play the entire game for you. So you can see the degree to which I camp. But anyways, so that's where Tanner draws the line, right? Sitting in one room, camping. Sitting in a building, not camping. Okay, fuzzy. I mean, if you're just staying in one building, that's kind of camping, I would say. It's not as bad as sitting in a corner, but you're still kind of camping. And then we could even make this finer. Like, okay, maybe you're not in one room, but you're on one floor of a building. So like 2 rooms. Is that camping? It's like, yeah, that's almost definitely camping, in my opinion. But then let's say, even if you camp an entire building, like an entire 2-story building, or you survey, as Tanner's euphemism said. Well, okay, maybe that's camping, maybe it's not. Let's say it is camping. Okay, well then how about if you stay in one area, like one area of a map? So let's say, for example, on Shoot House, you never leave the junkyard. So you can be in the middle of the cars in the junkyard. You can be in that dumb corner. You can be like back toward the other side, depending on where they spawn. It's like you're staying in only one area. But is that camping? It's hard to say. It's hard to say, right? And here's my point with all of this. My point is that, in my opinion, camping is like porn. And if any of you have ever read a book.
Here we go.
If any of you have ever read a book, you might know what I mean when I say that. There was a Supreme Court decision on what constitutes pornography. And one of the justices on the Supreme Court, when he was adjudicating this, wrote his opinion. And in it, he wrote a very famous line. And that famous line is, I don't really know how I'm paraphrasing. He didn't say it exactly like this because I don't have the exact quote. But he said something like, I don't know exactly how to define it, but you know porn when you see it. Because you can't really, it's hard to define porn. Like, okay, well, are there naked people? Does that make it porn? It's like, yes. It's like, okay, well, I mean, what if you're, I don't know. What if you kill a woman while she's taking a bath and then she's naked and you film it? Is that, okay, well, there's a naked person in the video. Is that porn? No, that's a snuff film and you should get off the dark web. But so then it's like, okay, well, I don't know. So there are all these things you could do, and I'm not going to go through them all. But camping, I think, is kind of the same thing. It's like, well, it is hard to define. because it's easy to say sitting in a corner is camping. It becomes a lot more fuzzy when we're talking about an area or a building or a floor or a room or 2 rooms, whatever. But I would say you define it the same way. It's like, I can't exactly tell you what precisely camping is, but I know it when I see it. I know it when I see it. And I think you can all sympathize with that view. If I asked all of you to write down your definition of camping, I could poke holes. I wish I could. COVID-19, we're on quarantine. I would poke holes in I would be able to poke holes in all of your guys' definitions. But I would also be able to poke holes in all of my own definitions of what camping is. So it's easiest and most useful to define it as, I don't know exactly how you would define camping, but you know it when you see it. That is how I would answer that question. So I just wanted to kind of define camping because number one, it is the topic of today's podcast. And number two, that was a specific question asked of me in the Discord. So now we have a rough understanding of what camping is. And all of the last 20 minutes is to say, you guys already know what camping is. I don't have to define it for you because it's very difficult to define. But you know it when you see it. Let's put it that way. Now, is a prevalence of camping bad? Tanner.
Yes, it's bad. Of course it's bad.
Why?
Because there's nothing like being on a 11 kill streak and running into vents at Gunrunner and some kid sitting in the corner with a claymore and a 725 shooting you in the back because he heard your footsteps coming the whole way and killing you off your kill streak.
Right. And why is that not? What about that isn't fun?
Well, for one, it doesn't take any skill because he doesn't have to have a gunfight with anybody. He just hides in some corner and shoots me in the back when I run by. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest thing, I think.
Well, okay. I don't disagree with any of that. But I think the main reason that camping... So is camping bad? First of all, the answer is yes. The answer is of course it is. And you all know it's bad, but I'm gonna clear up the thoughts that you have and put them into words for you. You're welcome. Camping is bad because when you die to someone camping, it often feels like, and a high percentage of the time, this is really the case. There's nothing you could have done to not die to this guy. I mean, if you turn a corner and someone has been looking exactly at that corner while mounted with an LMG, it doesn't matter how good you are, you're dead. You're just going to die. There's nothing you can do about it. So camping is bad because for the campee, the person who gets their ass fucked when they turn the corner to the camper, there was no potential for outplay, and no matter how good you are, you were going to die to this camper. So you have no impact on the state of your game. It doesn't matter how good you are. If someone is camping and you run into their sight line, you will die. That is why camping is bad. Because it is not, quote, fun and interactive. It is very anti-interactive. There's nothing you can do. And improving your skill is not going to alleviate the situation. If you are being camped and you turn the corner, you are dead. Doesn't matter how good you are. That is why camping is bad. Because it removes your skill as a variable for how well you do. And you want to perform according to how good you are. If you get better at the game, you want to start doing better at the game. You want your results to reflect how good you are at the game. If your level of skill has no relationship to how well you do, then there's no point in improving. And that is exactly the issue with camping. Doesn't matter how good you are, you're still going to die. So you have no control over the interaction. That's why camping is bad. And this, I would also argue, is the case for if you are the camper. Because here's the reality. And look, everyone's camped once or twice. Everyone's camped.
Especially you, yeah.
Well, let's not say especially me, but we've all camped once or twice. And there are reasons that people camp. Maybe they're close to their streak. Maybe they're frustrated. Maybe they feel like they're getting their ass fucked every time they turn a corner in this particular lobby, so I'm just going to plant my ass in this building and hope I can do better this way. But the reality is, even as the camper, if you had the choice to have a 5 KD this lobby camping, or you can have a 5 KD running around the map like a fucking demon. So in other words, your performance is going to be the same whether you camp or you run around. Which one is every single person going to choose? Obviously running around and fucking dicking kids around, no Epstein. So camping is a last resort for people often, usually. And every single person who plays this game, if they could do just as well running around as they can camping, they would choose to run around because that is just more fun, period. Ubiquitously. So camping is bad, not only for the person who dies to the camper, but also for the camper themselves. Because if they could do as well running around, they would. But obviously they can't in certain games, which is our next point. So they choose or they resort to camping because they would rather play a less fun play style but do better than the converse. So camping is bad, essentially. Yes. Now, how do we fix camping? Now, I wrote some notes down here, and my point was that well, we're gonna get into a couple case studies in a second, but first we're gonna catch up on chat here while I make a second cocktail. So, Tanner, is there anything interesting going on in the chat?
Let's see. Start out from the top. Yeah, Jake down. What's understood doesn't need to be explained. If you camp, I don't expect you to understand. Yeah. Then you also said camping is like being a bitch. You can't explain it, but we all know. Damascus asked the questions. What about a bus? What if he's camping in a bus and he roams back and forth to the front and the back? Is that camping? Yes, it is, Damascus. Don't ever fucking do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got a lot of Razano rages in the chat, that's for sure.
Why are they
Glitta
raging?
said, I don't know. Probably because they hate campers. Glitta said, nice military haircut, Razanon. Then she also said, I really love your emotes, Tanner. And then she also highlighted that message using Razanon's channel points. So keep that in mind.
Okay, well.
Jedi Knife said,
Thanks,
hashtag Sarah J. Wrong.
Oh, that's harkening back to last week, I think, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll keep that in
porn
mind.
question, the Q&A
Yeah.
porn question.
Yeah.
Psychon IV, campers are easy to deal with C4 and RPGs.
Well,
yeah, but you're also a piece of shit if you're using an RPG, so it's
I don't even
it's a
agree with
toss-up.
that though. I mean,
Yeah.
if you run EOD, it's not. And if you're a fucking retard camper, it's going to be easy to kill you. But if you're a retard, it's going to be easy to kill you no matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
But if you're good, like if I want to camp a room and I don't want to die to an RPG, and you're the only person trying to kill me with an RPG, you're not going to kill me. Because I'm not going to sit in the exact same spot and let you just fuck my ass. So anyway.
Yeah. Corey made a good point. Camping ruins the game flow and makes certain maps unplayable that would be otherwise pretty good. Agreed. There are just certain angles, places you can't even run because people are camping them. And then that side of the map, you don't even bother going anymore and you have to run somewhere else. Damascus asks, is sniping camping? That's actually a really good question.
That is a great question.
That's a very good question.
What do you think?
It is. I think that's part of the reason I don't like sniping, because it's boring to me most of the time. You know, if I'm going to snipe, I want it to be quick pace sniping. I want to use like a Car 98. I want to quick scope 360 kitties, console lobbies. No, just kidding. But like on Warzone and shit, sniping obviously really fun, necessary. In multiplayer though, ground war, it's boring to me. You got to sit in the back somewhere. It's not fun. I just feel like a piece of shit when I'm shooting people all day long and they never even know where I'm at. That's my biggest thing.
So Damascus, this is a beautiful question, and I'm not sure if you know why it's so beautiful, but I think the implicit point you're making is that, hey, look, this whiskey tastes interesting.
Does it? Isn't it Scotch?
It's like, yeah, Scotch is whiskey.
Okay.
It's like oak, like really oaky. I'm drinking Johnny Walker Double Black Label. I swear to God, when I breathe out of my nose, it's like I'm sitting inside of a piece of burning wood, like a campfire.
So do you like it or not like it?
I don't know yet.
Yeah.
It's just fascinating. I've never had such a strong
It's probably warming you up inside.
tasting. Well, we're getting loose. But anyways, Damascus, that's such a good question, because I think implicit in that question, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that you're asking, look, we all assume that sniping is a valid playstyle. And I would say I agree with you. Sniping is a valid playstyle. And then you're saying, okay, well, if sniping is a valid playstyle, you kind of have to camp to snipe, because you can't just run around and snipe people who are using MP5s. Therefore, if sniping is valid and sniping requires camping, does that mean that camping is okay in certain situations? That's what I think you're implying when you ask that question. So number one, I would say I agree with Tanner. Yes, if you're sniping in the traditional sense, you are camping. But two, to address what I think your underlying subterranean question is that yes, it's okay to camp sometimes. One of those times where it's okay to camp, as you pointed out, is when you're sniping, because you kind of have to. I can't run around with an HDR on fucking shipment and expect to do well against Origin 25s, MP5s, and fucking 725s. I just can't do it. So you kind of do have to camp to do well with sniping. And I think that's okay. I don't think camping is inherently wrong all of the time. But most of the time, in general, it is. And there are drawbacks to camping. And there just like there are drawbacks to sniping. And in most games, those costs and benefits of camping are about balanced out. So then when this question in the Discord gets raised about, well, is camping, what is camping? Is it a problem? How do we fix it? What is implicit in these questions is there's too much camping in Modern Warfare. Why? And it's a great question. And that's what we're going to get into next. So we have the two perfect case studies, really, with respect to this camping question. Black Ops 4 versus Modern Warfare. Now, Tanner, would you agree that people camp more in MW than in BO4?
Oh, undoubtedly, without a question. There's not even a case for saying people camp more in BO4. Very rarely, I mean, it's been so long since we played that game. I don't remember camping being an issue whatsoever in that game. I remember us raging mostly because of specialists, right? Right?
Yes. Specialists and threshers. Yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, we had 6 threshers a game. So, but no, camping was never an issue in BO4 at all. It was a much quicker pace game.
I agree. So Jake brings up an interesting point. He says sniping is for long range, not for camping. It gives you the ability to kill people you otherwise wouldn't. That doesn't require you to camp. That can be true, but in general, it's not. And here's why. So it depends on the map you're playing on, number one. So, for example, let me think of a good map. Arklov Peak, perfect map. You can snipe on Arklov Peak. Would you agree, Tanner? You can snipe and do well on Arklov Peak. You got a nuke that way, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
I did.
You did.
I got 2.
Okay.
2.
Well, were you sniping in both of those?
No, the second one I was though. I started
Okay,
off
so
with
let's
an
answer
SVD with
answer
0
the question
attachments.
without flossing on kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Multiple
Anyways,
nukes.
so okay, so you can snipe on Arklov Peak, right? But if you wanted to snipe on Arklov Peak, were you just running out in the open when you were sniping?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Because what are you required to do when you're sniping on a map like Arklov Peak? Stay close to cover.
Mm-hmm.
The reason for that is if you get caught with your pants down and you have an HDR, you're fucking dead. You're dead. So you have to be close to cover. So you don't necessarily have to be camping. I kind of agree with you there. Sniping does not always imply camping or require camping. But that is very different than saying you can play with a sniper the exact same way you can play with an M4, because that's just not true. I will cross a street or an open area with an M4 that I will not do with a sniper. And the reason for that is if I'm crossing some relatively open area and I start getting shot and I have an M4, I can podcast him, turn, and fuck his ass very quickly and very easily. But if I have a sniper, by the time I look at him and then scope in, now I'm not fucking XWASD Mitch, so maybe this is my ineptitude here, but I think this is true for the vast majority of people. If I'm running out in the open and I get caught with my pants down with a sniper, I'm fucking dead. So what I want to do is be close to cover so that if someone starts shooting me whom I did not see first and I have a sniper out, I can take cover, get behind whatever piece of cover that is, reset, calibrate, figure out where the dude is, and then I can re-peek and one-tap him. But that requires cover. And it is easiest to get cover on any map when you're camping. Because when you camp, you usually camp in a building. And the reason you camp in a building is because there are walls around you, which provides you cover. So I see what you're saying, Jake, but I think you are being a little too literal, and you have to make sure that you're taking the point that sniping requires camping and apply it to an actual in-game application. So technically speaking, yeah, snipers allow you to get kills at longer distances than any other gun. That's all sniping is. Okay. Technically that's true. But if you want to do decently with a sniper, you also always need to be near cover, or else you're just going to go a 0.2 KD. So that's what I would say to that. And you said, Jake, you said you're just thinking for Warzone. Yeah, for sure. But Warzone is the same way. I mean, even if you have an M4 in Warzone, you should always be by a building. And I can guarantee this. If you're playing Warzone and you're not always in a building or by cover, you're shit. You're just not doing well. Because you can get fucked 7 ways from Sunday in Warzone because the map is basically infinite. So I see your point though, Jake, but I want to stress that sniping lends itself to camping more than using any other gun would. Bloodless, welcome to the stream, Young King. Let's see. Certain game modes also promote camping. That's also true. Yeah. So Bloodless and Corey, you both brought up points, skill-based matchmaking, and score streaks. These are both excellent points, which I've already written down. And I'm going to get to those. But just give me a minute, boys. So, again, let me rewind, and we're going to get into this real quick. So Tanner and I agree, and you should all agree. If any of you have played BO4 and Modern Warfare, you would agree. Camping was far less prevalent in Black Ops 4 because it was far less effective. Now, we're going to get into the reasons why, and this is going to explicate how you would fix camping. First, we're gonna outline why it was less prevalent in Black Ops 4, and then from that we can extract the reasons that camping is good or bad depending on the game, and then we can apply what we've learned to a future hypothetical game where we can alleviate the camping problem. So, one of those, number one, the Ghost perk did not work in Black Ops 4 unless you were moving around the map. Therefore, the vast majority of the time, people knew where you were. So if you were a camper in Black Ops 4 and you had Ghost, then people would know where you were, because if you're camping, by definition, you're not moving around the map, and therefore the Ghost perk isn't functioning for you. So you're still showing up on the minimap. However, in Modern Warfare, Ghost works all the time, whether or not you're moving. You could be AFK, and if the enemy team gets a UAV and you have Ghost, you will never appear on the minimap. It does not require any movement whatsoever. So Ghost in Black Ops 4 was an anti-camping tool because it required you to move around the map. And one of the big reasons that camping is effective is people don't know you're there. So if everyone sees your dumb red dot in this fucking building that you're camping in, like they would in Black Ops 4, even if you were running Ghost in Black Ops 4, then it's going to make it a lot harder for you to do well while you're camping there. Number two, and I want your input on this, Tanner. In 6v6, it is much harder to camp in one room, for example, because very quickly, everyone's going to figure out where you are, and they're going to come, and their reptilian brainstem monkey revenge fantasy will activate, because there's only 6 people, and they're going to come try and fuck you over and over and over and over again until you're dead. And there are myriad ways that you can kill a camper in any game, and that is definitely also the case for Black Ops 4. So in Black Ops 4, there was no ground war, there was no 10s. The max party was 6 people. The max team size was 6 people. So in Black Ops 4, if you're playing a 6v6 game and your goal is to camp one room for the whole game, the entire enemy team is going to know exactly where you are in 45 seconds. And that makes camping difficult if everyone knows not to peek you in that room, or they get vindictive and want to start fucking throwing nades and shooting rocket launchers in your room. But in Modern Warfare, number one, in Warzone, it's incredibly easy to camp, because once you kill someone, they're not respawning to come fuck your ass again. They're dead. So you're never going to have to... you're always going to surprise people in Warzone, in a BR. But number two, even in Ground War, it's like I can stay in one room in Ground War and surprise up to 64 people. Up to 64 people, because that's the team size, before someone comes back for seconds. So you have the opportunities to surprise 64 people rather than 6 people. Now, I wasn't super confident in this point, Tanner, but do you have any thoughts on this?
I do have some thoughts. So for one, I agree with you about the 6v6. If we're playing 6s, again, I'll mention Gunrunner, back when it was 6s only. If that's 6v6, if I get killed by a guy in vents, you know what I'm doing when I respawn? I'm immediately running back there to kill that guy.
Yes.
Because it's only him and 5. Now, once you even get into 10v10, I'm probably still running back there to try to kill him, maybe, but there's a less chance that I'm going to even go back to that area or care about him, because in my mind, I have 9 other teammates that may have already killed him, or he could have just moved on by that point. Ground War, though, it's kind of hit or miss. I mean, you and I know we tried for 1 week straight to get a nuke on Anaya Palace, camping spawn building.
Yes.
So I mean, sometimes we would kill them, they would spawn back immediately and come and kill us. But on the flip side, we would kill them, 3 times in a row, then they would say, you know what, fuck it, I'm not going to spawn there anymore. They'll spawn on another flag behind us and just ignore us.
And also, real quick before you continue, when we were camping that room in Anaya, we also chose the hottest possible location to camp. So I don't think that's a typical camp spot we chose. We chose inside their asshole and up top to camp when we were camping Anaya. And the reason we did that is because we were impatient and we wanted to get 20 kills in 45 seconds, which we always did.
Yeah.
But that's why we couldn't get the nuke. So I don't know if that is a typical camping like scenario. But anyways, go on.
Yeah, so it's easier, I think, to camp and get a lot of kills quickly. But I don't know if you can, say you're going for a nuke. I don't know if you can finish that off as easily in ground war. Sure, you can get a ton of kills camping, because like you said, there could be 64 other players, 48 other players, whichever map you're playing. But eventually you're just going to get overwhelmed once you get to 0 to 25 kills in 4 minutes. Then everyone's going to be pissed and they're going to be coming for you. So you can get kills quickly in ground war, but they'll also come back quicker. Yeah, camping. But they'll come back a lot quicker eventually once you keep fucking their asses.
Yeah. I mean, there will be more people that know you're there because the team size is bigger.
Yeah.
But also, when we're talking about camping in general, I want to be clear that we're talking about the average player's playstyle. And the average player is more inclined to camp in Modern Warfare than in Black Ops 4 because camping is more effective in Modern Warfare than in Black Ops 4. And when you're talking about nukes and stuff, it's like, look, the average player doesn't have a fucking hope in hell to get a nuke, regardless of what they do. They can camp, they can not camp, they can play an area, they can play the whole map. Doesn't matter. If you're average, you're not dropping a nuke, period. Doesn't matter what game mode you're on. Doesn't matter what your play style is. You're just not going to get a nuke, period. So I'm not sure how helpful framing this in the nuke receiving capabilities or effectiveness is when we're talking about the average general player's play style in this game versus BO4. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, very good point. Yeah.
So, but regardless, I mean, you do raise some good points, but I just wanted to bring some attention to that. So, here's another point. Because attachments were a lot more costly in Black Ops 4 because of the Pick 10 system, which we talked about a few episodes ago, most people in BO4, I would argue, and I want your input on this, Tanner, but in my opinion, from what I remember, most people did not use silencers or suppressors in BO4. And if they did, it was 10% of their entire class. So like using a silencer was a significant cost in Black Ops 4. But in Modern Warfare, you get 5 attachments per gun regardless. You don't have to sacrifice anything to get up to 5 attachments. And if I can have 5 attachment slots, it only costs me 20% of one weapon, which is only probably 20% of my entire creative class repertoire to use a silencer. So silencers are far more common in Modern Warfare with the gunsmith system than they were ever popular in Black Ops 4 with the Pick 10 system. So you see a lot more silencers in Modern Warfare, and that's good for pretty much any playstyle, but it's very good for campers because you stay off the minimap. And if people don't know you're camping a room, then it's much easier to kill them than if people do know you're camping a room. So Black Ops 4 camping had many further layers of difficulty than Modern Warfare does. And one of those was that using a silencer was a significant cost in BO4. And it is virtually no cost in Modern Warfare. So, do you remember, Tanner, how costly, or how often, I should say, did you see or did you yourself run a silencer in BO4? And before you answer that, also help me catch up on chat while I try and wrestle my gargantuan white penis out of my shorts and then piss into my toilet with it.
Okay. So yeah, let me catch up on chat here while he takes this huge cock out of his pants and pisses in his toilet with it. Let's see where we were at. I don't know if he touched on this. Not having score streaks definitely doesn't help with camping. Actually, I think he said we're getting to that. Yeah. Nobody camps in BO4. Yes, blood, definitely. More long-range engagements in Warzone allows you to snipe without camping as much. Yeah, for sure. Whenever I snipe in a Warzone, I'm always out in the open. We're always running somewhere, and I see somebody suddenly, and I take a shot real quick. I'm never just sitting in a building sniping, but a lot of people do that. Blood said these maps were really made for 10v10. It's such a shame that 10v10 doesn't get the attention it deserves. Blood, I could not agree more. When they took away 10v10 Dom, that was when we stopped caring about this game as much. That was all we played. And I'm in the same boat as you. I think so many people haven't even tried 10s because they don't think it would be good. And I don't blame them. I didn't figure it out until probably 2 months, a month and a half into the game, 2 months. We were like, dude, this game fucking blows. These maps suck. And then finally, I started trying 10s. I don't remember why. And I told Razanon. He didn't really like it at first. I didn't like it at first either. But once you get used to how it plays, it is so much better in this game than 6v6. It's just leaps and bounds. It's a fucking huge difference. I urge all of you who have not played 10s, you should try it out. It just sucks because now it's a mosh pit playlist. It's not as good as it was before. And it's because nobody played it. So it was really good, and it's very annoying. Nobody tried it out. Anaya spawn camping is such a nuke tease. I know, Blood. I'm not kidding. We've gotten like probably 15, 28 plus kill streaks on that map, and we still haven't dropped the nuke. Just neither of us.
I got a 29 and then got shot in the back. It was not great.
Like, yeah, it got to the point on Anaya where if we got anything less than a 20, that was a shit round. Like, it would always be 25 plus, and we could not finish it out.
Yeah. Agreed.
Every time you stop and wait in a building because you're the target of a bounty in Warzone, you are camping. Well, you get outside and take bullets like a man, K. Well, whatever, Damascus.
Joking, yeah.
Yeah, so. Cranked Warzone, it's not a bad idea.
That's actually not a bad idea. That's a great idea, Damascus. That'd be fun.
Stop talking about new Warzone modes until duos come out. Yeah, soon, trademark. I'm thinking it's this week. I'm going to say it right now, gentlemen. I'm thinking this is the week. I've heard there's a big update coming this week. Let's just say an inside source told me there's a big update coming this week. Doesn't have a lot of info, but he said there's a lot to be excited for, and it's going to be a huge update. So hopefully Duos is in there. And then what question was I supposed to touch on? Oh, suppressors. I'm not kidding, Razanon. I don't remember anybody running a suppressor on anything.
I ran suppressors. I remember
The only thing I can kind of think is the MX-9 people ran it on that. I think you did on the MX-9. What other guns Oh, maybe on some. I think I ran on the Swordfish. I'm looking at a weapons list of BO4.
I experimented with suppressors on certain guns, but here's the real question. Were any of my go-to let's fuck some kids in their mouths, no Epstein classes, did any of them have suppressors on them? Absolutely fucking not.
No. So. Yeah, no, it's kind of coming back to me. I think I ran it on the Swordfish, maybe the SOG, I don't think so, but not like this game. The SOG, I
definitely ran them on, yeah.
This game,
because there was a slot for it. Because there was a slot for it. But that's never a problem in MDub. There's always a slot for a suppressor in MDub. You know, how many of your classes have silencers now in MDub?
Exactly all of them.
Exactly all of them.
Every primary I run has a suppressor on it, no matter what primary it is. Secondaries, even 75% of them I run a suppressor on.
Yeah, exactly. So
Damn, Corey. If Tanner predicts it for the next update, just know it ain't coming, Chief. Damn.
get fucking destroyed.
That's a Tanner
stupid
37
bitch.
dumb in the chat, so
Yeah,
I'm pissed, Corey.
Yeah, that is a
Duos,
Tanner
yeah,
37
sure,
dumb
Jesus.
in the chat.
I say one thing and everybody starts shitting on me. That's crazy. I feel like rising on. Brentino,
welcome, brother. It's an honor and a privilege to have you here. Follow the channel. Rate us 5 stars on iTunes. Jinsu 112 with that Twitch Prime. Let's fucking go. Jinsu, it's an honor and a privilege to have you here as well, my friend. Thank you very much for that fire Twitch Prime sub, sir. And welcome to this small but vibrant and extremely humble community.
My
yeah.
turn for a break.
Okay. So Tanner's going to take a little break. But to echo what Tanner said, and I already kind of gave you guys my input. Yeah, like silencers in BO4 were relatively restricted because of the pick 10 system. And silencers in particular, I very seldom saw silencers, and I very seldom ran them myself. Just like I was saying to Tanner, it's like I would run a silencer when I had a floating slot for it. And what that means is I would run a silencer when the gun I'm using for that class did not have any other attachments that were better. One of those was the SOG. SOG didn't have that many attachments that were very good, in my opinion, or were necessary. So I would run a silencer on my SOG class, which became completely irrelevant once really good DLC SMGs were released. So like when the Switchblade released, I just never used the SOG again because it wasn't even close to a Switchblade, for example. So, and the silencer, by the way, the reason I'm bringing this up with respect to camping is that in BO4, if you wanted to camp, you would want to stay off the minimap, because if you're on the minimap every time you shoot, then it makes it a lot easier to kill you because everyone knows where you are and everyone knows where you're camping. In Modern Warfare, you don't have to worry about that because you can put a silencer as one of your 5 attachments on your gun, and then you can camp your little dumb heart out and not worry about ever appearing on the minimap, especially if you have Ghost. So that is another reason that camping was far less prevalent in Black Ops 4 than it is in Modern Warfare. Because this is yet another thing that was that made it more costly and more difficult to camp in BO4 than it is in Modern Warfare. So Jinsu says, first time catching it live, can you get Tanner to show his hairline? I can do that, yes. He has a nice hairline, but I don't... so Jinsu, you raise a good point. I don't know why he always wears hats, especially when he's streaming. It makes me fucking furious. But now that it's in his emotes, it's kind of his little dumb trademark, so he's probably always going to wear hats. And hopefully that's what causes him to go bald, and then we have a great Shakespearean tragedy on our hands, which would make me Keck W. I will get him to show his dumb fucking hairline. It's a good hairline, though. That's why it makes me mad that he wears a hat. It's like, hey, if you're balding and you're embarrassed by it, shave your head, take a page out of Joe Rogan's book. But also, you know, you're not balding, so don't wear a fucking hat indoors, you stupid bitch. That's how I feel about Tanner Dropshot. Follow him on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. So Tanner has a hairline confirmed. He does have a hairline. It's a decent hairline, I think. I mean, I don't know, dude. I don't remember the last time I saw Tanner's hairline. He doesn't wear hats in person all the time, but he does wear them when he streams all the time. And by the way, I don't know what's taking him so long. He might be pissing in the shower, which requires more cleanup. He might be
pissing in the shower.
I thought it was possible. Show everyone your hairline.
My hair?
Yeah, your hair. Take your hat off. We just want to confirm that you're not bald. See? Look. He's got a great hairline. Great hairline, yeah.
I just like wearing hats. I've always worn hats. Especially lately when I can't get a haircut.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Your hair is super long, so you have straight hair. That's interesting.
It's probably the longest it's been since middle school. I'm not kidding. Somebody even said that to me the other day. Like, dude, I haven't seen your hair that long since you were in like 8th grade. I was like, yeah.
Jinsu, my second question, why does he always have to restart his PC? Tanner, can you tell the Dropshot community what kind of processor you're working with?
Well, okay. I think it was one of those last Windows update or something, because it hasn't done it in a long time. I can tell when it's going to do it, and I know, like, right now, I know I don't need to restart.
That's a cute segue, but what kind of processor are you working with right now?
An i5 8400, which still gets better frame rate in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019 Game of the Year Edition than Bloodless TV, AMD Ryzen 9 3900X. So,
okay. So he's using an i5. That's why. Don't ignore his sophistry. That's why. So I got a haircut today. Jealous.
Still a better gaming processor than AMD, but yeah.
I had my brother shave my head today too. It feels fucking juicy, brothers. Juicy. Tanner looking like
Corey, do you
Beck.
follow me on Twitter? If you follow me on Twitter, I'll post a picture of me with. I had a bowl cut for exactly the first 12 years of my life. So
I actually want to see that as well. Everyone tweet at Tanner Dropshot and tell him to post the picture of his bowl cut, because I'm gonna forget, but I do want to see that. So, anyways, moving on here. Next point. In Black Ops 4, red dots would appear if you do not have a silencer and you shoot your gun. Always. So in Black Ops 4, no one can have a UAV up, and if you shoot your gun, your dot will appear on the minimap if you don't have a silencer. Period. Doesn't matter if there's a UAV up or not. In Modern Warfare, if you shoot your gun without a silencer, but there's no UAV up, you won't appear on the minimap. So even if you're one of these fucking retards that wants to camp like a dumb piece of garbage without a silencer, you can do that and you can get away with it, and you can still conceal your location on the map unless the enemy team has a UAV up. So once again, you're able to conceal yourself a lot better in Modern Warfare, and as a result, you're able to camp a lot more effectively in Modern Warfare, even without a silencer, because of how they broke the minimap in this game. And if you guys have been listening for a while, that's been a hobby horse of mine quite a bit, or it used to be quite a hobby horse of mine. I've surrendered to the fact that this game is going to be kind of shit for the rest of its life cycle. I swear, I'm not even trolling. I think it's kind of shit. Like, the visibility's too bad, and also the fucking the mini-map is annoying, and the sprint out time is bad, and the maps are terrible. But I think the visibility and the maps are the main things. But another one of the big problems is that the mini-map doesn't function like every other Call of Duty in history, which is a fucking disaster. So that's yet another reason that camping is better in Modern Warfare than it was in Black Ops 4, is because even without a silencer, you're not going to appear on the minimap when you shoot your gun without a silencer unless there's a UAV up. So keep those things in mind. Psycon IV with the 100 biddies. Let's fucking go. Psycon, thank you for that cheer, brother. And Jake Down trying to one-up you or 5-up you with the 500 biddies. Let's fucking go. Thank you, boys, for the cheers. I appreciate you. Psycon is not going to be bested with the 400 biddies. Let's fucking go. Boys, chill. I love you both equally because you've given 500 bits equally. Otherwise, I wouldn't love you equally. That's a joke. But thank you both for the support. I appreciate you both very much. That is very kind of you. Jake is now up by 1 bit. So thank you. Thank both of you boys for the support. I appreciate you. I appreciate you very, very Much.
Ooh.
Very fucking much. Absolute K, what up, big dog? Absolute K, I bought Modern Warfare. It's pretty cool. Okay, well, Absolute K, come back to me in 2 weeks of playing, and then we can reassess your opinion on this shit game. Stick to your pistolas with the Twitch Prime. Let's fucking go. Stick to your pistolas. Welcome back for the 2 months. 2 month streak. Damn, this guy's been consistent. The most consistent motherfucker you know. I don't know what that's from. I wish I could reference it. But Stick, thank you very much for the resub, my friend. Honor and a privilege to have you back. And Jake and Syken, thank you both, boys, for those cheers. I appreciate you both. That is very kind of you. Low Kappa, this is not the the Valorant episode. There will never be a Valorant episode, you dumb bitch. And if you want to go ult, kids, you can go back to SWTOR, or you can go back to Overwatch. And those are both dead games for a reason. So keep those things in mind. You fucking Valorant apologist, hill-loving cocksucker. Lowcap.
Let's just say Lowcap always has the best usage of emotes. He's a big emoter, and I'm a big fan of it.
I mean, putting Omega Lol in place of an O is not a 200 IQ play.
They're 200 IQ
so
plays
Lowcap
for
can
sure. Lowcap,
deep
I'm on your
throat
side
my
here, dude.
insanely large white penis.
Oh yeah, before I forget, everyone tweet at Razanon to show us a picture of his insanely large penis he always talks about.
Well, okay, we can consider that. Jake down with the gifted sub to Low Kappa. Now, Low Cap is not deserving of that gifted sub, but nonetheless, Jake, I do appreciate your generosity, my friend. That is very kind of you. I'm honored and privileged for the bits. Thank you so much, and for the gifted sub, dude. Thank you very much, dude. This hype train
going, dude. A level 2 hype train.
All right, let's not pander, dude. But there is a hype train in the chat. I have not gotten many of these. I think this is my second hype train ever. But thank you all for the support. It is very kind of you. As a founder, there's nothing I don't deserve. Nothing would make me happier than timing you out right now, Low Cap. So luckily we're in a hype train, and I'm not going to kick someone off the train. So you're lucky. By the grace of God, we're in a hype train, and I'm not going to time you right the fuck out for your incendiary comments in my chat. But nonetheless, watch your mouth. And for those of you listening, by the way, I've known Low Cap for fucking 5 years probably. We go way back. We're boys. So just relax. I'm not bullying anyone in my chat. And that is not how I treat everyone. It's only how I treat Low Cap, because he's a piece of garbage. Just kidding. I like Low Cap. Anyways, let's move on here. Let's move right the fuck on. Jake, thank you again. And stick to your pistolas, and Syken, thank you all, boys. So, Tanner, you brought up this point because this is new. This is news to me. So why don't you go ahead and tackle the highlighted point we have here, Tanner?
It's just something I was thinking about. Let me say before I start, I do not think Dead Silence should be a perk. But just because we're talking about it, let's throw this out there. Dead Silence, do we need it in this game?
Do you think it should be a field upgrade?
I think it should. I love the way it is currently.
Okay.
I think it's fine as a field upgrade.
Okay, go on.
But here's my question. Would campers move around more if Dead Silence was a perk? Because currently now, I see all the console players, all the professional console kiddies that... Big quotes on the professional. If you play professional on console, you shouldn't get a dime. You're not a professional. But anyways, I always see them talk about Dead Silence. So do you think, Razanon, if it was a perk, would those players that usually camp in corners because they're scared to move, would that help them move? Would they be less scared because nobody can hear them? Would that add movement and flow to the game? What are your thoughts here, buddy?
Turning the tables on me, Tanner. I like it.
I am.
Okay.
Because I fucking hate Dead Silence and I don't want it. But when you think about it, it kind of makes sense, right?
Well, I'll address two of the things you said.
Okay.
Number one, should dead silence be a perk? Absolutely not. I agree with you.
Absolutely fucking not.
I agree with you 1,000%. Now, that is a separate question from should the footstep audio be as loud as it is now in the game? Those are two separate questions, and we need to be clear that we're parsing those out. With that said, we're going to parse them out first, and then I'm going to address point number one, which is, should dead silence be a perk? I agree it should not be a perk. It should never be a perk. So I agree with you there. And I do agree that it's a good field upgrade. So we're on board there. Now your second question, or your question, would campers move around more if dead silence was a perk? No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think the reason people camp are the fucking literally 15 reasons we've listed here. I don't think it's because they're afraid of being heard when they're moving around the map. I just don't believe that that's true. I think they camp for plenty of valid reasons. So by the way, all the reasons we've gone over for why camping is so prevalent in Modern Warfare are good, valid, logical reasons for camping in Modern Warfare. Everything we've said so far is just us telling you it makes sense to camp in Modern Warfare. And here's why. Because it's good. It's good for reason 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we're going to move on to 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So it's really the game that encourages camping, which is going to be our overarching thesis. But what I'm saying is that I don't think if dead silence was a perk, I don't think that would reduce the number of campers virtually at all, because I don't think people camp because they're afraid of being heard. I think they camp for all of the other reasons that we have enumerated thus far. So I'm going to turn that question back on you, Tanner. Do you think campers would move around more if dead silence was a perk?
I hate to say it, but I think they would. The footsteps are too loud in this game. Well, okay, I don't think they're too loud. I don't think they're too loud, but a lot of people do.
So you don't think they're too loud, but we agree that they're loud. They're loud, but they're at the correct level. They're audible, but I should be able to hear them. They're more audible than every other Call of Duty, and you think that that is a good and appropriate thing. I don't know about that. Interesting. Okay, well, go on. The floor is yours, Senator. Well, especially on a war zone, you can't hear footsteps at all, so. That's a separate issue, but you're not wrong, so go on. Okay, I don't know, dude. If some guy was so bad that he has to camp in a corner, don't you think if he ran dead silence constantly, he would maybe move a little bit more? He's scared. He's scared of moving. You know? That's what I think. But I would hate it, because then they would, instead of camping in a corner, they would run up right behind you and knife you in the back. So it would just be a different type of getting shit on. Instead of getting shit on by a camper, that would be so much better. And I also disagree with you so strongly. I mean, you read these notes before the pod, right? You did. Yeah, you did. Okay. So if dead silence was a perk, do you think players who are not that good would throw away all of these benefits to camping just because they can't be heard running around the map anymore? Like, you have to get into the... So, look, Tanner, you're a good dude, and that's why you don't camp. Now, you kind of camp because you camp buildings, which we went over in our psychoanalytic section of this podcast. You're a camper. But if you were a more gross camper where you camped one building, then put yourself in that mind space and now answer the question. If you couldn't be heard, would you move around the map? Because why do people camp is the question. We'll start here. Why do people camp, Tanner? Why do you think people camp in this game? Because they're bad. Right, exactly. And they can't win gunfights. Exactly. So if you think they couldn't be heard, do you think they would suddenly get confidence in their gun skill?
Maybe.
I don't think so. And
If they could run up on people from behind.
right, but if you're so bad that you can't win a gunfight, you're probably also too bad to be able to successfully flank people consistently. Because if you have decent, if you don't have decent passable gun skill, you probably also don't have decent passable map awareness, spawn knowledge, and general kind of spatial awareness. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know. That's how I feel about this.
I just wanted to bring it up. I don't want it in the game. I just wanted it to be a little topic.
No, I get you.
So fuck Dead Silence. It shouldn't be in the game. But
I actually thought about bringing this up, but I figured it didn't need to be mentioned. But by the way, this has grown on me. I fucking love this scotch. I could also just be drunk, but
yeah.
But nonetheless,
It's also watered down now. So
well, suck my huge white cock. It is a good point to raise, though. I think it is a good question that is worth raising, even if the only reason we're raising is to dispel with the notion. Call me Marco Rubio. Watch a political debate. But there would here's where I'll meet you in the middle.
Okay.
There would be fewer campers if Dead Silence was a perk, but if Dead Silence was a perk, there would still be 98% of the campers there are now, and there would still be far more campers in Modern Warfare than there are in Black Ops 4. Do we agree on that?
Yes.
Okay. So it was worth addressing. It was a good point to bring up, but I don't think that is the make or break of the situation, as it were. Jake down with the 300 more fucking biddies. Let's fucking go. Jake, thank you so much, brother. Much support. Honored, privileged. I appreciate you, dude. I appreciate you. Stick to your pistola says every game should be cranked. I agree. Yeah, exactly. That's how handling should be standard.
Yeah, for sure.
Jedi Knife says, and of course I'm going to read this comment. Jedi Knife 84, the designer of the fire fucking fan art logo merch in the Dropshot, a Call of Duty podcast store. You can order yours now for affordable prices, by the way, like $20 for a shirt, the same fucking price you'd pay at fucking Target for your dumb Metallica t-shirt. Real talk, you guys are way better than some of these big name characters on Twitch or whatever. Well, Jedi Knife, listen to me, brother. I couldn't fucking agree with you more. And here's what you could do to help. Not you specifically, but the editorial you. Read a book. Rate the podcast 5 stars on iTunes. Make us discoverable. Help us quit our fucking 9-to-5 jobs so that we can make a plethora of more content for you guys. And then everyone would be happy. There'd be a symbiotic relationship. And all I'm asking for you to do is follow me on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Tanner on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram, and Snapchat. Rate the podcast 5 stars on iTunes and give us both Twitch Prime subs. That's all I'm asking. It's not a big ask. It's not a big ask. It's not a big ask. And tell your friends about it, of course. But no, seriously, very kind of you, Jedi. Thank you. Thank you. We want one-man army back. Wrong. We don't want one-man army back, Corey. Suck my cock. The most balanced perk, don't at me. He was trolling. So I'm acknowledging that you're trolling. And that is exactly... One-man army is exactly why Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer remastered would not be fun. Because people would suddenly remember that there were some things, like 5 things that were so overpowered, that would make the game insanely unfun for everyone who's looking to, like, have fun, you know. Camping's a good thing. Think about all the sweet trash talk you've heard in lobbies about campers. Well, Yeah. I was playing with Ben last night, and someone said, that's enough camping for you, Raz. And then was talking shit and said he was going to come kill me or whatever. And then...
No.
Yeah, well, of course. And then I went like 50-7. And we won, obviously. Like, hey, camp on these nuts. You stupid bitch. What else do we have here? Conducting this sucker. Yeah, Jake, thank you again for the cheers, by the way, man. Much appreciated, dude. Much appreciated. I watch Doc because he's entertaining, but half of his stream is him in the gulag. Damn, dude. That's crazy.
He's not good at video games. He's extremely entertaining, but he's not good at video games.
Really? Is that actually true? He's not good?
I think so. He's not great.
Interesting. Would you say he's above average?
Games, oh, he's above average, but I'm very confident in saying that I'm better than him at Modern Warfare.
Well, you're better than almost everyone at Modern Warfare.
He gets carried very hard by whoever he plays with.
So real quick for those of you listening, Tanner, I've looked at the statistics, by the way, and you can find these statistics in the Discord in the About Me and FAQ section. There is a link to Tanner's Modern Warfare stats. So this isn't even an opinion question. This is an analytical database question. Click on his stats and you can see what percentile he's in. He's above the 99th percentile. He's fucking insane at this game. So when he does a stream of us playing Modern Warfare and you're not watching, it's almost like Michael Jordan live streams a scrimmage and you just choose not to watch. You're a fucking retard if you're a basketball fan and you also opt out of watching that, right? So that is exactly an analogous situation with Tanner streaming Modern Warfare. He's fucking insane at this game. So it is completely unsurprising to me that Doc is not better than you are. It doesn't mean much. Let's put it that way. So Raz is a huge simp for Ashton Williams. K. Is this an Infinity Ward podcast catering to the camping 1%? Get shit on, Tanner. Tanner doesn't camp, in all seriousness. I was fucking with him at the beginning of the stream, but Tanner is not a camper in general. But he's not above camping when he's one off VTOL, and no one is. I do the same goddamn thing.
Or when you're 3 off a nuke.
Yeah, exactly.
When you're 3 off a nuke, you're not going to run in the open and run out of their spawn. So, I mean, that's obvious.
Yeah, that's obvious. And if you would do that, you're a fucking retard. And if you would say, oh, I have too much integrity to camp ever, even when I'm one-off chopper gunner, first of all, you're lying. And second of all, that's dumb. So don't at me with that shit. How about that? He's scared of the stash is the only logical explanation. Tanner has a competitive stash with Doc, right? Camping is CUDA. Yeah, camping is CUDA. Everyone camps. What do we have here? If you could convince a camper, if you can convince a camper to move, you would still hate him because he would be rocking a juggernaut. That's not true, Damascus. Because if a camper moved, then he would never get a 15 kill streak. So that's why they camp. That's kind of my point. Juan Solo says, wow, he blames everything on controller aim assist. Is that Doc that you're referring to, Juan?
Yeah, it's definitely Doc.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's not totally wrong, honestly. A Google %, that's a real number. Read a book. You spelled Google wrong, first of all, Jedi Knife. So I'm just going to flip the book back in your face because I don't know what Googol means. But I know it doesn't mean Google, which is what I think you were trying to say. Because when Google named their company, they named it after the correct spelling of the metric Google ton or Google 1,000 or whatever the fuck it's called. I don't know. I'm not a mathematician. And my aunt works at Google, by the way. She makes $350,000 a year, which is insane. So, and
yet you still have Spectrum Internet.
And I still have Spectrum Internet, and scarcely make 30K a year, so I'm really squandering my God-given talents here, as it were. So once again, I can't reiterate this enough. Rate the podcast 5 stars on iTunes so I could live up to my aunt's reputation. The Google fucking plutocrat.
Okay, well, let's get moving. Itchy's already in chat waiting for us to play trios, so.
Well, Google can suck my cock. And by the way, or Itchy can suck my cock. This is what Google did, by the way. I said Google, and then my Google Pixel 2 XL decided it needed to get involved in the conversation. Hey Google, suck my dick. You saw it on
Did your
screen,
aunt get you that phone for Christmas?
She did not, but she could have funded it and more. So let's see. Why do you think 5G towers are linked to COVID? Okay, low cap. This is why I don't like low cap.
Wait, did he ask that?
Yeah, this is why I don't like low cap. No. Don't laugh or don't disingenuously laugh because it wasn't funny. That's such a dumb conspiracy theory that it's not funny.
No, people think it is, though. That's what's funny. There are people out there that literally think that's true.
Let's move on. Another reason that camping was not as prevalent in BO4 as it is in Modern Warfare. There were no claymores or bouncing betties in Black Ops 4. There were mesh mines if you use Nomad, and there was Torque's barricade and razor wire. But those came at the significant cost of using a shit operator. However, in Modern Warfare, if you want to run a Claymore or a Bouncing Betty, the only cost is that you're not running a Frag or a Semtex or a C4. So the cost to run a camping lethal in Modern Warfare is negligible, especially compared to the cost for running a camping lethal in Black Ops 4. Like, if you want to camp in BO4, you have to give up Reaper Scythe and like Radar Shroud, which gives you an ungodly amount of points, for example. Or you have to give up the Noob Tube, or you have to give up all these other insanely overpowered operators. And there's no such trade-off in Modern Warfare. You don't have to give up hardly anything, really. And in addition to that, in Black Ops 4, there was no restock perk, so you couldn't plant a Claymore and then auto-generate one in 30 seconds. And there was not a shrapnel perk, where you could have 2 Claymores, and if you're also running restock, you could place your 2 Claymores and then regenerate 1 or 2 every 30 seconds or 60 seconds, respectively. So this is actually an important big point on the camping topic with respect to Modern Warfare. Having Claymores at your disposal, especially as easily as you can have them at your disposal without leaving your fucking room, if you're running restock, for example, that is a big deal, and it makes camping insanely more effective in Modern Warfare. Because even if you place a Claymore, for example, and the person who's trying to fuck your ass doesn't die to the Claymore, well, what they have to do is destroy the Claymore before they can enter the room. But here's the thing. If I place a Claymore and you destroy the Claymore, I'm going to know you destroyed the Claymore, and then I'm going to pre-aim you and then fuck your ass. And it makes camping so much more effective in Modern Warfare than in Black Ops 4. So this is, once again, it's another pro-camping mechanic that Modern Warfare has that Black Ops 4, for example, did not have. And I mean, Tanner, how common were Torque and Nomad in BO4?
Well, Nomad was probably one of the most least common operators, and Torque was down there as well. You used Torque a lot, actually.
I use Torque sometimes. I wouldn't say often.
You or Ben used Torque quite a bit, and it pissed me off. And I always said, you guys are fucking idiots for using that, but you would use it.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
Okay.
Such a dumb bitch.
Black Ops 4, and if you've read my About Me in the Discord, or if you've read my About Me panel on Twitch, you will know that Black Ops 4 was my very first first-person shooter that I took seriously on PC. I played like a little bit of Overwatch, but I also played as Reinhardt, and Locap can attest to this fact, which is not a first-person shooter character in Overwatch. So basically, Black Ops 4 was my first-person shooter. First-person shooter on PC. So I was shit. And it took me until Prestige 5 before I got a 15 kill streak in BO4. Which is unimaginable to me now. Like, I could play Black Ops 4 tonight. I could take probably 5 more shots of scotch and then play Black Ops 4 tonight and get a 15 kill streak. Yet, when I first started playing BO4, it took me until Prestige 5, trying my absolute hardest because I really wanted the Killer Master calling card, and being stone cold sober as a judge, as it were. So when I was a new frog, which is when Tanner started playing with me, I may or may not have used torque a little more than I care to admit. It's possible, because moving around the map and also aiming your weapon is very difficult for a new frog, which is what I was. Now, the longer the game went on, the better I got, the more acquainted with playing an FPS on PC I got. The less and less often I ran Torque because he was a shit operator. And you could run literally 6 operators that were far better than him, that had far better abilities. So Tanner just wanted to BM me because I pointed out his psychological weakness with respect to defining campers. And this was his way of, like a woman, by the way, like a woman, I'm a feminist, like a woman, getting back at me for the comments, for the correct assessment I've made of his character. So let's just take all the psychological baggage into account.
Listeners, for bringing that up. I didn't realize he was going to talk for 5 minutes about that. I wouldn't have brought it up.
Suck my cock. Okay. So anyways, that is another reason that camping is much better in BO4. So, I'm a big fan of dude. It's fucking bomb now. I'm a huge fan. Yeah, but I'm also a little turnt. So.
Wait. How did you get it? Because you don't leave your house. Did you leave your house?
I did. I've left my house twice since the quarantine started. Yeah.
Really?
I went to Vaughn's. I went to Vaughn's, and it was only to get alcohol. Yes, correct.
That's crazy. You didn't tell me you were going out, dude. I would have liked a picture of you.
This was my face cover, by the way. Let me show you guys. So, by the way,
we could have gone to Vaughn's together.
If you're not watching the podcast live on Twitch, you're missing out on the video version. And you can also see the video version on YouTube. Just search for the Dropshot or for Razadon. But here's what I looked like. I had the American balaclava, dude. This is what I walked in. I said, "Give me some scotch, you." Give me some scotch, you stupid bitch. That's what That's what I would tell the fucking 17-year-old bag girl. I would say, "Hey, you stupid bitch, go get me some fucking scotch that costs more than you make today in your 6-hour shift, you stupid bitch." That's what I would say. So, anyways.
Holy shit, dude, that's actually dope looking.
Yeah, it's pretty cash. So let's keep that in mind. So let's move on here.
You stupid bitch.
Firebreaks ability was very anti-camp. So if any of you played BO4, Firebreaks ability was that he would like radiate and it would just do like AoE damage around him. So if someone's in a building, you could stand outside the building, press your button, and then it would radiate and do damage to and kill that person in the building if you did that. So you wouldn't have to enter the you wouldn't have to enter the building. You wouldn't even have to put yourself in danger, and you could kill them. And they would be basically forced to leave the building when you did that. And no such mechanic exists in Modern Warfare. And I did make a notation that admittedly this is a small point, but it is still worth mentioning that there's no really analogous ability that exists in Modern Warfare. So I'm curious for your input on this, Tanner. Wall banging, don't ever delete anything again. Press Control-Z now. Press Control-Z.
I don't know how I deleted anything. That's weird.
You stupid fuck. You dumb
You did
bitch.
that, not me. I didn't do
right.
anything.
No, it was me. You're right. Okay.
Jesus Christ.
All right.
Holy shit.
So moving on. Wall banging was incredibly consistent in BO4, especially with FMJ1 or even more FMJ2. Sadly, wall banging in this game has almost no logic and is not at all effective as a result. Because, for example, if you're behind 8 cinder blocks, I can wallbang you as if nothing was there in Modern Warfare. Whereas, if you're behind one thin piece of plywood that is as thick as Tanner's penis, which is to say 1/8 of an inch, none of the bullets will penetrate it, even if you do have the FMJ perk equipped. So the wall banging in BO4, in other words, was extremely consistent, logical, and made sense, and it was predictable. So if someone was behind plywood in BO4, you knew how much damage you could wallbang them for, and then you could extrapolate how much damage you would do wallbanging them through that if you had FMJ1 and FMJ2. And then the same was the case for concrete, hardwood, fucking plaster, whatever the fuck. Wallbanging made sense in BO4, in other words.
It made a lot of sense.
Right, exactly. And in Modern Warfare, it makes no sense. So using the FMJ perk in Modern Warfare, while it is less costly to use FMJ in Modern Warfare than it was in BO4, it is so inconsistently applicable that it is not worth running. Therefore, once again, this is pro camping. Because there are some buildings you can camp in where even if you're only behind one piece of fucking plywood, you cannot get wallbanged, whether or not anyone has a FMJ. But in BO4, if someone is camping some room and you're using a Cordite, extended mags, rapid fire FMJ2, which is one of my favorite classes, you could completely kill them through the wall with no fucking problems. Not a problem. Hey, Chief, that's not a problem. I'm gonna wallbang the fuck out of your ass. Even if you're camping your dumb little room, there's no safety there. That is not the case for Modern Warfare. If you're in a room, you can't get wallbanged. Period. So I think that is, again, another reason that camping is so much more effective in Modern Warfare than it is in Black Ops 4. Now, Tanner, I want to get your input on this. I also want you to catch up on chat while I go get some more ice. So figure it the fuck out, and I'll be right back.
Well, wall banging was definitely easier to do in BO4. I don't know if it has much to do with camping in this game, though. I wouldn't go that far.
Would you say that being able to wallbang effectively is good for campers or bad for campers?
I would say it's bad for campers, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, well, there we go. Stupid bitch. Okay, let's catch up on chat here. I don't know where he left off last time. Imagine taking COD seriously. Damn, low cap. Damascus, I really think there's only one map that camping is unbearable, and that's Rust. Get off that damn tower. Yeah, but it's also extremely easy to shoot people off that tower usually. Oh, here's a good one. Damascus said he left his house during quarantine to meet a miner for coffee. If any of you aren't the Dropshot fans, you would know that Razanon once tried to meet a minor male child that lives close to us. He's 16 for coffee. It didn't work very well, so That's why Damascus made that nice little joke. Grab the hooch, you dumb cunt. Jesus, blood. That's just something he would say. Corey said, my boy Raz is about to be gone in a few more sips. I think he's already there, so yeah. What a fucking dumbass. COD 4 and MW2 wall banging were solid. Dude, blood. COD 4 wall banging, especially with deep impact. Oh my god. You could shoot through like 4 walls. It was amazing. Can't say the same for MW. No, not at all. Dill Furtado. I know he followed. Best podcast ever. Let's go, boys. Let's fucking go, dude. Thanks for stopping by. Glad you enjoy it, Chief. Use a mini tank to take out campers. Yeah, let's just... Hey, maybe we should spawn in and all get tanks. That's a good idea.
Kill yourself.
I forget which vid it was, but according to exclusive Ace, FMJ increases range on certain guns. Really? I don't know if I've seen that one. That's interesting.
Hold on. Stop. I subscribe to exclusive Ace. I don't watch all of his videos, but I watch many of them. I'm going to need you... Who said that?
Take one guess.
I'm not going to guess. Who? Are you going to make me scroll?
Bloodless TV.
Bloodless. Okay, Bloodless, link the video.
Brentino asked for my candle scent. Is Bath and Body Works home scented candle mahogany apple. So it doesn't even really smell, to be honest. Oh, it smells pretty fucking. Yeah, it smells really good.
I just
Blood has
so
insider information. Damn.
On my lap.
I watch them religiously, Raz. Well, maybe Blood should be on the payroll if he's such a big fan of exclusive Ace.
Okay, Blood, if you can link me a video and a timestamp of exclusive Ace and then put it in the Discord somewhere, and also that what you just said is what exclusive Ace said, I will give you money. So I'm almost positive that what you said is a gross exaggeration or a complete misinterpretation of what Ace said in whatever video you're thinking of. Did you answer the question, Tanner?
Yes, I did. Raz, drink some water, you peasant. I agree. Glitta said, I love Bath and Body Works candles. My scent is peach Bellini. Yeah, well, I don't like the smell of peach, but I have a lot of candles. I enjoy a good candle every now and then.
Well, guess who doesn't give a flying fuck about scented candles?
Guess who also tried to meet up with a miner for coffee? And we talked about that while you were gone because somebody said that in chat. Did you actually? So. Yeah, Damascus said that in chat. What did he say? Let's find it again.
Yeah, okay, we can.
He said he left his house during quarantine to meet a miner for coffee.
That is incredibly toxic, but I love Damascus, so he can get away with it. So, Raz spilling shit. Yeah, Brentino, I know. I'm a little I wouldn't say I spilled things as much as the scotch kind of splashed off
I need some context. Tell the story real quick again for the viewers.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay.
So just make it quick.
So there was this girl. She was 11 years old. Just kidding. That's a joke. No, there was this dude I used to play BO4 with. I actually don't know if I played with him. Yeah, I think I played with him before we watched the stream, but there was this guy I used to play with. His name was Scuba Gaming. He was 16 or 17 at the time, which I think he still is. And I told him I streamed or whatever. I don't even know if I told him I streamed. I think he just found my stream. I think TTV was my clan tag. But anyways, he pops into my stream and then he watches for a while. And then one day I mentioned where I live, which is San Dimas, California. And then he's like, oh shit, you live in San Dimas? I live in San Dimas. So then we kind of communicate where we live precisely. And then I learned that he lives literally a quarter of a mile from me. And I'm like, oh dude, Like, you've been watching me for fucking 3 months. You're cool. Let me fucking buy you a coffee at the coffee shop that is literally at the midpoint between us, because there's a little shopping center between where we live. And again, we live a quarter of a mile from each other. So I'm not asking him to go to fucking Vegas with me. I'm not asking him to go to downtown LA with me. I'm saying, hey, dude, walk down your street to this coffee shop and I'll buy you a coffee. Because it's cool that someone who comes into my stream every day lives so close to me. And then he was like, oh no, like my parents wouldn't be okay with it. And I was like, dude, you're 17 years old. Why don't you get your young ass out of your fucking chair and walk to the coffee shop? Because it would take you literally 7 minutes. Because again, I'm not exaggerating. I'm being very dead ass serious. The coffee shop I wanted to go to is about 1/8 of 1 mile from his house and mine. Because it is like almost exactly the midpoint between where we live. And then he was like, oh no, my parents wouldn't want me to. And I was like, what do you think I'm going to do? Fucking rape you at fucking 10 a.m. on a Saturday? Like, hey bro, just go to the coffee shop. Like, you're a 17-year-old man and you're not willing to for me to buy you a coffee. Like, this is so weird. So then it became a joke that I was trying to take advantage of some minor by, like, I don't know, buying him a coffee at 10 a.m. on a Saturday in broad ass daylight and then fuck his ass in the bathroom or something, which is categorically not true. But it was spun that way because technically speaking, he is a minor. So there we go. That's the story. Unironically, a pet arrest. So first of all, low cap. This is why I hate low cap. You spelled pet arrest wrong. So it's not pet arrest. It's pet arrest. So it's PEDAREST. And secondly, pederastry refers to a sexual attraction from someone who is post-pubescent to someone who is prepubescent. Now, if you're a 17-year-old male, you are post-pubescent. So at most, you could accuse me of being a pedophile, which I'm not, by the way. I had no sexual intentions with the 17-year-old boy, in case that wasn't abundantly clear.
Well,
but also, even if I was, I wouldn't be a pederast. I would be a pedophile. So read a book, low cap. Yeah, thanks. Let's start there. I don't know if he was 16 or 17. I don't know how old he is anymore. He hasn't been around in a while. I might have scared him off by trying to buy him coffee. So it's weird that you convinced him. He was in the same high school class
as my little brother-in-law too.
No, Sarah. I didn't convince him. I don't. So here's the point. I was just like aghast that he couldn't just walk out of his parents' house and walk 1/8 of a mile to get a free breakfast and then go home. That's what was surprised me. So I gave him shit for it, but I wasn't fucking mad about it. I don't care, dude. If you don't want to get a free breakfast, I'll be fine. I don't give a fuck. I'm not super intent on meeting up with you. I just think it's crazy that in the world of the entire fucking internet, one of my viewers happens to live 1/4 of a mile from me. That is crazy. The odds of that happening are super low. So I was like, dude, let me buy you breakfast. You're a kid. I'm like kind of a kid, but I'm older than you. I can buy you breakfast. That'd be fine. Especially since you live so close, it would take you exactly 5 unminutes to walk to the coffee shop where I want to buy you a coffee. But he was unconvinced. So I didn't try to convince him. And it's not weird because I didn't try to convince him. So don't impugn me with trying to fucking trap some poor innocent child into some fucking Pizzagate conspiracy, because that is not what's going on here. And everyone has made it out to be this big fucking thing that it's not. And now here we are because Tanner wanted me to explain to you guys this non-story. So great. Now
it's quite a story. You talked for a while.
So now I'm the asshole. So now I'm Jeffrey Epstein, right? So indict me on fucking child pedophile charges. Fuck all of you. Rate the podcast 5 stars on iTunes. Go ahead, Tanner.
Yeah, so that's what I'm wondering. At first you were saying coffee, then you were saying free breakfast. Which was it? A coffee is not breakfast.
Okay, so that's a great question, and I say that with the most facetious tone I can because here. So let me ask all of you: have you guys ever heard the word cafe?
I have. I've been to Italy. I've heard it quite a bit. Have you been to Italy? Have you been outside of California?
I've been outside of California. I don't visit third world countries like you do. So.
Okay.
Okay, so you've heard of cafe before. Great. Okay, so what is a cafe, Tanner?
It's a cafe where you drink coffee, I guess. I don't know.
So it's
coffee itself.
So it's a place
in Italy. Cafe is cafe.
Okay, so it's a place of business, right?
You could say that, yeah.
Such a piece of shit. So when I say coffee shop, it's a cafe down the street from us in the Vaughn's Shopping Center on the corner of and in California. You can look it up yourself. It's called Palermo. It's a cafe. They serve coffee, and they also serve breakfast, because everywhere that serves coffee in 2020, the year of our Lord Jesus Christ, also serves breakfast. So when I say free breakfast, which is coffee, which is it? Don't act like this is some kind of false don't act like this is a dichotomy, because it's a false dichotomy. If somewhere serves coffee, they also serve breakfast. Welcome to 2020.
Dude, I've never heard of that place. I gotta check that out. They have cannolis. I've had those in Italy.
It's actually dank,
they probably aren't as good here, because I've had real cannolis in Italy before.
You're such a piece of shit. In all seriousness,
it's probably a little different here.
It's dank, dude. That place is dank.
Okay.
They have this grilled cheese with like tomato sauce they serve. It's fucking good.
It's actually crazy that I've never even heard of that name. I didn't know there was one here. It's interesting.
It's a chain, but I mean, it's kind of far from you, because
it's not. It's
the
a mile
Vaughn's
and a
Shopping
half,
Center where
so.
I live is in the middle of nowhere.
Okay, well.
I mean, you're gonna have to get off the 57 on Via Verde. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Call me Al with the gifted sub.
It's 3.8 miles.
To walk off bat flip. Call me Al. Thank you so much for the gifted sub, dude. It's an honor and a privilege to have you supporting this channel. That is another gifted sub that you've given. That's your sixth, as the British would say, gifted sub. So thank you for that, dude. Very generous. I appreciate you, dude. And walk off bat flip. Thank you. And welcome to this small but vibrant and extremely humble community. No problem. You guys are fucking dope. I'm glad that you're enjoying the fucking witch hunt that Tanner and my chat is foisting upon me. So yeah. Keep this shit going. You got it, brother. Just for you, my man. Just for you.
Man, let's keep this shit going. Keep going. Come on.
When people get defensive about stories, it's suspicious. Suck my dick, Sarah. How about that?
Hey, speaking of meeting up with viewers, we should go wine tasting with Sarah.
I had so many thoughts there, but I'm not gonna explore any of them. Okay. So yeah, okay, we can go to Sonoma or wherever the fuck you go wine tasting.
I enjoy wine. I've had wine in Italy before, in Florence.
$3 bill. Okay. Well,
I've had lots of wine before. So.
Let's move on. Next point. So sorry for the tangent for those of you who are listening. So yeah, wall banging is not as effective, and ultimately that's bad for everyone, but I think it's especially bad for campers. Excuse me. It's especially good for campers that wall banging isn't super effective. No weapon mounting. And I think this is actually a fairly big point. And this is important, so I need you guys to follow along. Weapon mounting is when you put your weapon on some piece of cover and then it basically has no recoil and you can fuck everyone's asses. So, if there is no weapon mounting, it does not make camping worse. So the lack of being able to mount your weapon does not make camping worse, but the lack of being able to mount your weapon is also the removal of a benefit to camping that exists in Modern Warfare. So more precisely, for those of you who are in law school, this will make sense to you. It is the subtraction of a pro-camp mechanic rather than the addition of an anti-camp mechanic. So when you don't have weapon mounting, you're losing something that benefits campers. You're not gaining something that is against campers. And that has been pretty much the story of every other thing we've discussed up to this point. So weapon mounting, in other words, in layman's terms, it benefits campers, but I'll just leave it at that. It benefits campers a lot. How much do you think, Tanner, that that weapon mounting, the ability to mount your weapon to a windowsill and then experience zero recoil, how much do you think that contributes to people choosing to camp in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019?
I think it contributes a ton, dude. I mean, like you said, the biggest thing is it gives you a recoil advantage. In certain guns, you really need that. It's
and an idle
it's great
sway
for
advantage.
campers. Yeah. Oh, campers. This is one trick that campers love. Campers love this, etc., etc.
That was fucking funny, by the way.
They're a big fan of that. So
This is one
fuck
trick
weapon
campers
mounting.
love.
It's dumb. It's so dumb. Fuck mounting. Why did they put that in the game? And then they put it as a camo challenge. Fuck you, Infinity Ward. Such
I agree
assholes.
with that 1000%. So Brentino asked, dumb question, but why camp KD? Yes, that's the only reason you would camp. And I think we addressed this earlier, but if you could camp or run around the map and your KD would be really high either way, everyone would choose to not camp. Therefore, the reason people camp is only to have that thick fucking KD. So that is why people camp, for sure. Because it contributes to people getting kills without dying. That is why people camp. I think that is the only reason people camp. So, but yeah, I mean, okay. Honestly, I like weapon mounting, and I don't think that you are always camping if you mount your weapon. It's rare for me. Admittedly, it's very rare for me to mount my weapon now that I have Damascus, but I will do it occasionally to secure kills when I know people are running around a corner. I think they should make the dismount when you're weapon mounted like a second longer than it is now, because it's too easy to mount and dismount right now. I think there should be a very big timer to dismounting your weapon, such that there's a cost to mounting up your weapon. Would you think that would be a good change, Tanner, or would you propose something else? Or would you just say, fuck weapon mounting in general, it shouldn't exist?
That's exactly what I would say. It shouldn't exist. If they're going to do anything, I would rather have the lean feature in the game. Lean left, lean right. Definitely not mounting, though. But they can't do that because it's cross-platform. There's console players, and they wouldn't be able to lean because they don't have enough buttons on their tiny controller.
They're
So
dumb fucking controllers. Yeah. Well, you're not wrong. So, okay. So anyway, that's another thing that benefits campers. This is a big one. There was no sprint out timer in Black Ops 4. So in Black Ops 4, there was a perk called Gung Ho, which eliminated the sprint out time. And what sprint out time means, I've talked about this many times, is that depending on what kind of weapon you're using, if you want to go from sprinting to ADSing, you have an artificial timer that determines how soon you can start aiming down the sights from a full sprint. And the larger the weapon, the longer this timer is. There was a perk in Black Ops 4 called Gung Ho, which completely eliminated this timer. So you could go from sprinting to ADSing in the exact same amount of time that you could go from standing still to ADSing in Black Ops 4. This made it so that if you're running and gunning in BO4, There's no penalty. You're not going to have to wait an extra amount of time just because you're running around the map. And this is exactly what I was saying on the previous point. This doesn't exactly benefit campers, but what it does is it benefits people who are not camping. It's an incentive for running and gunning. It's not necessarily a disincentive for campers. So if I turn a corner and some dude is camping that line of sight and he's already ADS'd, he can start shooting immediately, but I have to wait for my sprint out timer and my ADS time on top of that. In Black Ops 4, if I turn a corner and someone is camping it, they're already aimed down sight, so they can start shooting immediately. But in BO4, when I turn that corner and I see that dude pre-aiming me, I can ADS and immediately start shooting, and I don't have to wait for that sprint out timer. So I have a much higher chance of being able to fuck that dude's ass. But in Modern Warfare, with the sprint out timer and the ADS time, it's too long. It's going to take me too long, and I'm always going to die. I'm always going to die. How well do you think you would fare against a camper in MW if there was no sprint out timer versus the current state of the game, Tanner?
Oh, it'd for sure make it easier. I could just aim right up and fuck their asses, no matter where they are. So, I mean, if you're out in the open and somebody's camping and they get the drop on me, and my class setup has little to no sprint out time, I'm getting my ass raped every time.
Yeah.
Even though I'm a demon.
You are a demon, for sure. For sure. Let's see. Yeah. I mean, it would definitely help. I mean, and that's like, look, none of these points are my like fucking gotcha for why camping is so prevalent in Modern Warfare. But when you add them all up, it becomes my gotcha for why camping is so prevalent in Modern Warfare. So, that is the list, as far as I'm concerned, for why camping was so much more, or why camping is so much more prevalent in MW than in BO4, which brings me to this point. In Black Ops 4, camping was not necessarily bad, but it was not nearly as strong as it is in Modern Warfare for all of the reasons I just mentioned. And that is why camping is such a problem in Modern Warfare. And then Bloodless brought this point up an hour ago. Score streaks are also a reason that camping was less prevalent in BO4 than in Modern Warfare. Because in Modern Warfare, we have kill streaks. So you're required to finish a kill to earn credit toward your next streak. In Black Ops 4, there were score streaks. So what this means was you got credit for getting assists, and assists would earn you points toward your next streak. And importantly, you would also get credit if you capped an objective with score streaks that would earn you credit toward your next streak. That is not the case in Modern Warfare. So when I'm playing Modern Warfare and I'm one off a VTOL, then I'm not going to fucking leave my building to go cap B. Even though that may win my team the game, I don't care. I want to boost my KD because everyone wants to boost their KD. So I'm not going to move a goddamn inch. But in BO4, if you're in the exact same scenario, you would say, well, if I cap B, that's going to earn me my attack chopper. Because in BO4, there are score streaks, not kill streaks. And you would get points or score for capping B in BO4. So that is another incentive to not camp in BO4 that is non-existent in Modern Warfare, which is one of the many reasons, and this is a whole nother episode, but it's one of the many reasons that score streaks are far better than kill streaks, as far as streaks are concerned in general in the Call of Duty franchise. I mean, like, why would you risk dying when you're one off a VTOL or a chopper gunner or white phosphorus
Yeah, true.
If getting B, for example, capping that objective, has no chance of you getting your streak. Whereas you can just stay in the fucking building and fuck someone's ass and not risk a goddamn thing. So this is another thing that Modern Warfare has done to incentivize people to play like dumb pieces of garbage that Black Ops 4 did not incentivize. And I want to be very clear. I had a ton of fucking problems with Black Ops 4 in general. I made a fucking 2 hour, probably 2 hour and 30 minute video series on BO4, strictly reviewing the game. And the majority of those 2.5 hours were negative. So I have plenty to say about BO4 that was bad. But score streaks was one of the few things that they got right. They just didn't handle them correctly, precisely. But yeah. Anything to say on that topic, Tanner?
I fucking agree with you completely, yeah.
Okay. And then the last thing. This is Corey, suck my cock. This is hopefully Corey's not a minor. I'm not going to hear the end of that either. Skill-based matchmaking, which is a point Corey brought up. In Black Ops 4, there was no skill-based matchmaking. And what that meant was every lobby was a lobby full of a myriad of players. Some of them were insane. Some of them were average. Some of them were complete dog shit. So you could run around them in general, obviously. So you could run around the map and reliably fuck everyone's ass, especially if you were in like the top 10th or top 90th percentile. However, in Modern Warfare, there is skill-based matchmaking. So everyone is the same skill level as you. So when you add up all the advantages that we just went over for the last 90 minutes that campers get compared to people who are running and gunning, and then you also equalize for skill level. So in other words, the camper is just as good at this game as the person trying to run and gun, because skill-based matchmaking makes the lobby equalized for skill. Well, then what fucking choice do you have? Of course you're going to get fucking destroyed if you're trying to run around the map, because campers have all these advantages that you don't have, and you can't even count on the advantage of being better than everyone else in the lobby that you could otherwise count on because skill-based matchmaking. So let's say you're as good as Tanner is. You're in the top 99.5th percentile. Well, guess what kind of lobbies Tanner gets put in? Only the top 99th percentile. So he can't run and gun because the guy who is camping and mounted on some corner like a dumb piece of shit is just as good as he is at the game, but he also has all of the advantages that we just enumerated. He stands no chance. However, if there was no skill-based matchmaking, Tanner would load into a lobby and there would be players of varying degrees of skill. So he could turn that same corner, and instead of being greeted by a camper who is also in the top 99th percentile, it would be a camper who is an average player. And even with all of these advantages that Modern Warfare affords campers, if they are a 1 KD player and Tanner turns the corner, my money's on Tanner. So skill-based matchmaking, in my view, is really the nail in the coffin for why camping is so prevalent in Modern Warfare. And that's why Corey's point was such an excellent one, because it got to the real heart of the issue. Even if campers have no advantages other than the non-mechanical advantages, they would still have the advantage of pre-aiming. And if everyone is equalized for skill because of skill-based matchmaking, whoever's pre-aiming the corner has the advantage, period. And that is why skill-based matchmaking, again, is the nail in the coffin to the argument of whether or not camping is good or is effective or is more or less prevalent in Modern Warfare than in any other Call of Duty title, which I would argue it categorically is because you have all these advantages on top of skill-based matchmaking, so you as the camper are as the same skill level as everyone else, and you're also, mounted, no recoil, not showing up on the minimap, etc., etc. So that is what really makes camping such a pernicious disease in this shit game. So, Tanner, do you have any thoughts on this point?
I'm just interested you call it a disease. I agree with you for the most part. I just feel like when you get to the higher KD lobbies, I don't think there's as many people camping necessarily. I don't care how often you camp.
What playlist are you talking about, though?
I don't know any of them. If you're at 50 to 100,000 kills in this game with a high KD, there's no way you got there camping. There's no way.
I disagree with that so strongly.
Okay.
I disagree with that so strongly.
Wrong.
No, you're wrong for saying wrong. If you play Ground War, you could camp. You could exclusively camp and never not camp, and you could have a top. You could have a 95th percentile KD if you're good. Think of this, Tanner. Let me put a gun to your stupid fucking dumb head with your hair that's too long, and say, for the rest of the life cycle of Call of Duty Modern Warfare, so for the next 5 months, 6 months, whatever, you cannot play this game without camping, period. How well do you think you would do?
3.0 plus KD.
Right. That's my point. That is exactly my point. It's like you're saying you have to run around the map to have a high KD and high kills. And I'm telling you that is absolutely not true. You can camp and do extremely fucking well in this game. And I would argue, I'm actually sure of this. It's not even an argument because we've just gone over all of the reasons, you fucking idiot. So pay attention. You would have a better KD camping than not camping, period. Point blank, period. Because of skill-based matchmaking and all of the advantages that we've just enumerated. So you have an incredulous look on your face, so go ahead and give me your counter argument, Justice.
Ask your question again, because the way I answered it, the way I thought I was answering it, you responded the exact opposite of what I thought you were going to say.
I'm not asking it again.
Okay, then move on.
Yeah, we're going to move on.
I think you asked the wrong question. I think you worded it incorrectly. I think we're agreeing. No, just forget it. We're just
going to move on. So, okay.
Yeah, let's just keep going.
So basically my last point on this subject, because people in Twitch chat are itching for some gameplay, which we're going to get to. Tanner's going to stream. Everyone relax. Should the player base be blamed for how prevalent camping is in Modern Warfare, given all of the points that we've just gone over? Tanner, what do you think?
Of fucking course. There's too many issues with the game to blame the person. There's issues with just everything. So I mean, they make the players want to camp, I think. So it's the issue with the game. People love camping because it's going to make it easier for them most of the time. Unless they're going up against me, they won't stand a chance.
So, sorry, I had to take another sip of my wood scotch. Yeah, so the question is, should the player... And this is important for me to address, and the reason I brought it up is because So many people in the lobbies that I play in will make this error. And the error is this: the players blaming other players for camping in this game. So let's say you're on a team and the other team camps their cute little asses off and they fuck your ass because they were camping the entire time. Should you blame those players for camping? And my answer is absolutely fucking not. Absolutely not. And this is an adage that I recommend you all take out of the seminal film Ocean's 11, which is this: don't hate the player, hate the game. Hate the game. It is not the player's fault for doing the optimal strategy to do well and to be effective. It is the fucking game's fault, which is to say it is the developers' fault, which is to say that it is Infinity Ward's fault for making a game that has all of these pro camp mechanics in the game. Players who play a game want to do well. And if you want to do well and you're smart, then you will do those mechanics. You will exploit those mechanics, which will make you do as well as you possibly can. And what are those mechanics? Well, we just went over it for 90 minutes. Those mechanics are camping mechanics. Camping is the best way to have an exceptional KD. It's the best way to get streaks. It's the best way to win games in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019. So the next time you get fucking destroyed by some kid who is corner camping or who is mounted on top of a windowsill on the second story of the building in Shoot House and he constantly fucks your ass, there are ways around that, and we could have that conversation. And I would argue it's relatively easy to kill that guy, but it's not easy enough. And the reason that his strategy is so effective is because of how the game is designed. So don't hate the player, hate the game. Direct your ire, read a book, IRE, toward not the player, but toward the development of this game and the fact that they have implemented all of these pro camping mechanics into the game that make it so rewarding to camp and so anti-rewarding, so punishing to move your character at all. And that is exactly what Black Ops 4 got correct, that Modern Warfare got wrong. If you're playing Black Ops 4, you are rewarded for moving around the map, engaging in gunfights, being able to point your crosshair at players such that you can depress your shoot the weapon button and then kill them. That is not the case at all for Modern Warfare. You're not rewarded for being able to do that well, which is ostensibly the point of a first-person shooter game. So hate the player, hate the game, do not hate the player. It is not the player's fault. So the next time you get mad because someone camped and fucked your ass and got all their streaks, take a deep breath and then tweet at Ashton Williams and tell her, "You dumb whore."
Jeez.
Don't respond to only tweets that are eating your ass. Instead, respond to a modicum of critical tweets that are telling you that this game is shit. Because as an Infinity Ward representative, it is your job to be a liaison between the community and the development team so that you don't make this error in 3 years whenever Infinity Ward will be the harbingers of the next Call of Duty title. It is the game's fault that camping is so good. It is not the players' fault. It's annoying when I die to a camper. I get mad at them. I call them a fucking every single time. But that is my reptilian brainstem that is having this reaction when I step back and take a critical assessment of what went wrong here, What went wrong is that the game rewards campers and punishes people who want to move their character, which is the antithesis of what a first-person shooter game should be, to be a fun game. End scene.
I'm gonna restart and get a drink.
Go ahead, Chief. I'm going to catch up on chat here. So we have a couple things to go over here. First of all, your deductible. Welcome back to this small but vibrant and extremely humble community. And you didn't say a goddamn word. Here's what you did. You gifted 10 fucking subs like a goddamn demon. So let me point those out to you. Brentino22, Lyrical. Let me scroll up here. CDK0660, Skateboard Q, Misbehavin'. Shout out to Misbehavin' from the BO4 days. Welcome to this small but vibrant and extremely humble community. And then 5 more. Vipus01 VPS. I've known VPS for 7 or 8 years. I fucking love VPS. He's an absolute sweetheart. He's a Canadian cuck, Justin Trudeau supporting piece of garbage, but I love him. I think he's so funny. He's very good at video games, and I love VPS, so shout out to you, you stupid dumb bitch. Bloody Seventh Dimension, OT Kimberly from the BO4 days, Romo from the BO4 days, and Murray45. Welcome all of you to this small but vibrant and extremely humble community, and you're deductible. Thank you so much, dude, for the 5 plus 5, 10 gifted subs. Very kind of you, man. Super generous. Thank you so much, man. It means a lot. I love the support. It is very kind of you. I'm not sure what else to say, but I'm very grateful, and Tanner is very grateful as well for all the support, as it were. So thank you, and it is an honor and a privilege to have you a part of our small but vibrant and extremely humble community. So thank you. You're deductible. I appreciate it, man. And I know you've gifted subs before, but I wanted to be clear that any further support is very appreciated. So thank you, brother. Honestly, in all seriousness, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Let me catch up on chat here. Where were we? God damn, we were far behind, aren't we? Damn, chat was just popping off tonight, huh? It's probably all roasts of twitch.tv/Razanon, I would suspect.
What's going on, dog?
All right, well, I'm going to start here because I'm not going to go back farther than this. Is our boy Itch ready to run?
He is. He's up there.
All right, cool. So Jinsu said, I also complain about the visibility in this game. And one of my good friends says he likes it because it's more realistic thoughts.
Yikes.
Well, okay. I wouldn't be so quick to say yikes, although ultimately it is a yikes. But let me take you on the journey to the yikes. It is more realistic, and I do like the aesthetic of Modern Warfare far more than the BO4 aesthetic, which is glowing lights, fucking diamond camos, and a bunch of other, I want to say it so bad shit. But I won't say it, TOS. But so I like the aesthetic, but I think there is an appropriate marriage between the aesthetic and being able to see people in the game. And if you need to pick between one or the other, you pick visibility, period. So if I have to pick between realistic looking and being able to see people in the video game that requires aiming at enemies and then depressing your left mouse button such that they die, I pick the latter every single time. We have to keep in mind, this is a fucking video game. So if I can't see you, but I'm supposed to take solace in the fact that I died to you because the game looks realistic, suck my cock. We're going with visibility. We're going with smooth gameplay mechanics far before we're going with realism. So
Ready to go, Chief.
all right. I'm genuinely curious if Raz goes on these tangents when he's on a date. And Sarah said I'd ask to go to the bathroom and never come back. Okay, well. Well, Jesus Christ. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. I have so many comments that I'm going to refrain from making. Some say I'm a savage. That's the biggest yikes I think I've seen tonight. Someone gift a sub. We went too hard tonight. Imagine the fucking trust fund making a plea for someone to gift a sub and not doing it himself. So that's a yikes as well. I'm new and convinced he's a fucking peed. What is a peed? I've never heard that that shortening of pedophile. So I implore you to go back through chat the past hour or so as classic. It would take me a good another 20 minutes. I'm not going to do it. I'm scrolling very liberally, as they would say.
Yeah.
So
Fucking.
I would hand wash his gaming sleeve for coffee. It's pretty funny.
Who
Corey.
said that?
Corey.
That's funny.
Corey 21. Corey's
That's
had
funny.
some fire insights and some decent jokes. So
Yeah. So Itchy and I are ready. So let's fucking get this going.
all right. I'm gonna read this and then we're gonna raid you. It would be Bloodless says, Bloodless, live up to your trust fund and gift more subs. You stupid fucking. It would be so easy to make a drinking game based off of Raz. 1 sip every time he touches his mic. 2 sips every time he takes a sip, etc. I see what you were doing with the second point, but I don't think it's that funny. I don't know. Come on, make your comments. Don't be shy. What does making my comments mean, Sarah? Because I don't know what making your comments means. Tanner, can you tell me what making your comment means?
Trying to get you to be Raz. Get that Raz response.
Well, no. Hold on. No. Don't be some simping fucking.
Here we go.
Simping white knighting cuck.
I'm the simp.
Yeah, you are the simp. Clearly,
you're not a simp actually. So never mind.
Yeah,
You're the opposite.
Yeah, let's be clear. If you can impugn me with anything, it is not a fucking simp. So let me ask you again. I want you to remove the fact from your mind that a female said this, and I want you to assess this on its own merits. If someone said to you, make your comments, what would you think that means?
Speak. Say the dumb shit I usually say.
Okay, well, so that's great. So you're willing to read into statements what is not actually implied or explicated in the statements. Yes. And what I would say is, if I read a statement that makes no fucking sense, I would tell you, oh, I'm sorry, but your statement makes no fucking sense. So when you tell me to make a comment, I will tell you, hey, you thought, I don't know what make a comment means. So why don't you be more clear in your grammar, your syntax, what make a comment means? because I don't know what making a comment is. So let's start over. Let's rephrase whatever the fuck you were trying to say, and then maybe I can address what your command was. Because currently, when you say make a comment, I throw up my hands like this. Look, ready? Watch me. I don't know what
are these poor podcast listeners still listening to this?
I don't know what making a comment means.
You need to end this. These poor people, dude.
I don't know how you make a comment.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know how you make a comment. So I know how you state a comment.
Let me just say live on your
anyways.
chat, the vaping Viking is back. The mad fucking lad with 5,000 biddies at twitch.tv/TannerDropshot. Dude, vaping, thank you, dude.
The vaping demon. All right, let's all join the vaping.
Really appreciate that.
Let's all join the vaping fucking demon. Jake. So I'm gonna send Tanner that fire fucking host here, and we're gonna all raid. Yeah, you're right. We're all gonna join Tanner Dropshot. We're gonna get some dubs. We're gonna get some dubs in Warzone. So thank you all for watching. Of course, this episode ran a little long because I was charged with being a pederast because someone didn't know what pederast means. So I educated you on the definition of that word. Maybe know what you're saying before you say it. We'll start there. Blood. And also, I was repudiating the charge of being a pedophile, which I am not. So that was a lengthy and uninteresting and ultimately fruitless detour that we took, but I nonetheless had to take. And that's why this podcast episode is so long. So you can thank the dumb fucking Twitch viewers that come to my stream. So if you want to balance out the ratio of fucking retards to people who provide constructive comments, criticism, and insight to the chat, then you're more than welcome to twitch.tv/Raznon, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Wednesdays, Saturdays. And you can watch the podcast live. Thank you all for watching. Have an excellent evening. We're going to get some fire fucking Warzone games in right the goddamn fuck now. Have an excellent evening. And as always, remember, stay humble.
Stay fucking humble.